you have done a tremendous body of work. You're part of the Ensemble Studio Theater.
Yeah.
You did plays at Humanifest, Actors Theater of Louisville, Long Wharf. I can't list them all, but we could go on and on. What type of bonds and or pivotal stepping stones in your career and personally were products of those kind of experiences, which you just said you were with wonderful people? Would you say that that's like where you learned more of your acting muscle and all that, or did you, and does it shift? Well, I know different players you're with, different actors. Have you bring up more of stuff or not? I don't mean you, just any of us.
Yeah,
when I act,
yeah.
When I studied acting, I know I studied with a certain teacher, and when I was with people that were, I would say, much more skilled than I, like, it just raises your game because you got to get up there with them, you know. So yeah.
And there were people, I always recognize kindred spirits when I would see, and actually when I came to Ensemble Studio Theater, I read a play there, and the artistic director really went after me to come in, and so that was an amazing experience. But I saw that, I guess that was a seminal thing for me. I'd been acting for 10 years when I came into Ensemble Studio Theater, and there were actors I would see on the screen and everything, and on famous actors who I recognized as the kind of actor that I felt kinship with, and the way I worked and everything. But who I worked with a lot of really great actors who aren't names, or some of them became names, but like Allison Janney. I worked with Allison Janney before.
I love her. I love her.
And we had an amazing time together, and she recognized what I had. We felt, but she, she was. I remember one of the last times I saw her, she was like, "Annie, I can't get a job. My agents say they don't know what to do with me, and I'm too tall, I'm too this, and I'm not." And then the next year she was on West Wing. So,
and people
like
love her.
She's a great actress.
And people find her like very appealing, just as a human being.
She's very fun to talk to and everything. And but I felt very seen and appreciated by her too. So there was those and actors who didn't, but who I just. But I would say, like, I had an amazing experience actually doing. I did so many interesting things. Oh, John Patrick Shanley's plays I did in my 20s.
I did one of those plays too. I loved it. I did Cleaning House. I was like,
yeah, and I was working with him because this was before he got famous. So, but he was up and coming, and he was a member of Ensemble Studio Theater. So I was in his early.
Some of his stuff.
Oh yeah, I did Danny and the Deep Blue Sea originally, and I did. Well, Mary McDonald did the original, but I did the second. Dreamer Examines His Pillow, and I did it off Broadway. And that was huge. That was very helpful to my career because it was one of those parts that called things forth. But also doing Glass Menagerie. I was doing Glass Menagerie under very difficult circumstances when I was, I guess, 30. And I was doing a school tour with Bill Pullman.
Wow.
Before he was
Bill
and
Pullman.
He was playing the gentleman caller.
I bet he was wonderful.
Oh, he was wonderful, and I was Laura, of course. And Lois Smith was. We did a presentational performance. This is before we did the tour, but we did it for Lincoln Center student body, and Lois Smith and Bill Pullman, and me, and it was amazing experience because we all loved working together. The director was not, he was a nice man, but he just was very much an academic, and he was hard to work with. Anyway, but I went on tour. Lois and Bill were off on their big thing, but I went on tour with two really good actors, but the teachers hadn't done their work. They were supposed to do workshops. We were told they'll be doing workshops with the kids. And so a lot of the schools, and this was the wealthy schools, the poor schools, the kids were talking through the play. And the play made, I knew the play probably made them uncomfortable.
Right.
It just hits close to the heart of many things. and the kids would be talking and laughing and stuff. It was very hard. And one time, I had to stop the show. The gentleman caller was in tears. He was so upset. And I just walked to the edge. I limped to the edge of the stage, and I said, "If you aren't quiet, the curtain will be brought down." You know,
and I mean it.
And then I did it in a little accent, and it was a shock. And but they got quieter.
And that's good.
So that was, but doing that play when the conditions were so hard, and yet the play was such a masterpiece that I would always cry at the end when I broke the little glass things.
Oh yeah,
It would, even no matter how bad the situation was, I'd just be in tears. And the play, that's because a masterpiece will carry you through.
Yeah.
Will take you. If you give yourself to it, it will take you.
It'll journey. You'll take a journey.
And I learned what a masterpiece was very viscerally from doing it. And I think I took a great leap. Laura is not one of the parts they talk about as being, you know, one of those parts that takes you, but it does. If you do Laura, you will leap.
And I wondered, you work in all mediums, so, you know, stage, film, TV. What, if there are, and I'm assuming there are, I can only guess, not really, I've done some of the mediums myself. What are the nuances like for you in each, and do you approach them all the same? And is there, I guess, any adjustment you make or you've taken, you know, away from the different mediums experiences initially for adjustments, you know, like when you're on stage, it's kind of a little bit different. Then you get in shooting for camera.
Yeah, I mean, it's a whole nother set of muscles. That's why I want to do more movies. That's my sort of where I'm going with, and you know, my agents are going that way with me. But I love theater, but I want to get the muscles, more muscles for doing, you know, doing movies. So, but I was so glad during the strike, which I was proud of myself because I picketed 3 to 5 times a week, you know.
Yeah.
So I was glad that I had a theater career when we were striking. Actually, I was thinking,
because you could keep
I was
working.
like, I'll be fine. I'll be fine no matter what happens with AI. Thought I'm going to continue doing theater.